Can you imagine the painful feeling of having it all, fame, wealth, and fans, and then having it all vanish in the blink of an eye? Today, we will revisit the stories of 25 African-American stars who completely ruined their lives after falling into addiction. Be sure to follow along, because this list will shock you. Leave a comment with the number 1, and let's get started right away, starting with the heartbreaking and tragic story of Earl Simmons, better known by his stage name, DMX. Earl Simmons, globally known as DMX, was one of the most influential and controversial rappers of his generation, famous for his raw lyrics, powerful vocal style, and dramatic performances. Despite being one of the most legendary hip-hop artists with numerous prestigious awards, his legacy was overshadowed by the negative impact of addiction. His career began in 1985 when he beatboxed for a local rapper named Ready Ron during small performances. He later decided to pursue a rap career under the name DMX, which stands for Divine Master of the Unknown, and later, Darkman X. It was around this time that his struggles with addiction began. In a November 2020 interview, DMX revealed that he first became addicted to cocaine after Ready Ron tricked him into smoking a cigarette laced with the drug. This led to a long and painful battle with addiction. Despite multiple stints in rehab over the years, DMX was unable to maintain his sobriety. Tragedy struck on the night of April 2, 2021, when he was rushed to White Plains Hospital after suffering a heart attack at home, caused by a deadly combination of stimulants, alcohol, and complications from an infection. Unfortunately, he went into respiratory failure and brain damage, and after several days, he lost the function of several vital organs, including his liver, kidneys, and lungs. He was declared dead at the age of 50. His story remains one of the most heartbreaking examples of how addiction can destroy a person's life. Another tragic example of a black star caught in the whirlwind of substance abuse is Whitney Houston. Houston is still remembered as one of the greatest voices in music history, known for her powerful, flawless vocals and timeless hits that influenced generations of musicians. She had it all: fame, fortune, and countless awards, with over 220 million records sold worldwide. However, the tragedy began in the late 1980s and 1990s when she started displaying erratic behavior, signaling the onset of her addiction problems. On February 11, 2012, the world lost a shining star when Houston was found unconscious and submerged in the bathtub at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office reported that her death was due to drowning, with the contributing factors of arteriosclerotic heart disease and cocaine use. The office also revealed that the amount of cocaine in her system indicated that she had used the drug shortly before her passing, leading to her fatal drowning. Her death remains one of the most heartbreaking reminders in the entertainment industry and within the African American community of how addiction can alter a person's life. Another African-American star who faced severe struggles with addiction was Rick James, known as one of the most influential and prominent musicians of his time, especially with his unique blend of rhythm and blues, funk, and rock. Rick rose to stardom in 1978 with his breakthrough album Come Get It, which included the hit song You and I. However, as his career soared, he became surrounded by the temptations that come with fame, including drugs, alcohol, and a constant cycle of wild parties. Ultimately, he turned to substances as a way to cope with the pressures of the music industry and to keep up with his high-energy performances. Over time, what began as recreational drug use eventually spiraled into a full-blown addiction. The situation worsened to the point where Rick admitted to spending thousands of dollars every week on these substances. This marked the beginning of his downfall. His health began to deteriorate, and he developed serious medical issues, including diabetes, strokes, and heart attacks. Fans around the world were shocked when Rick James was found dead on the morning of August 6, 2004, at his home in Los Angeles. An autopsy revealed that there were over 9 different substances in his system, but the coroner reported that none of the substances or combinations were directly life-threatening. He passed away at the age of 56. Samuel L. Jackson, the legendary actor and Hollywood icon, also finds himself on this list. Jackson has had a highly successful career spanning over 4 decades and remains one of the most widely recognized actors of his generation. His films have grossed over $27 billion worldwide, making him the highest-grossing actor of all time. Surprisingly, Jackson's path to the top was far from smooth. In the late 1970s, as his career began to take off, Jackson struggled with alcohol and substance abuse. Initially, he used them as a coping mechanism for the pressures of the highly competitive industry and the depression caused by financial struggles and mounting bills. However, over time, this became a serious issue, affecting both his personal life and career. The reality of his struggles didn't become clear until 1991, when he returned home drunk after a farewell party with friends. His wife found him unconscious on the kitchen floor and begged him to seek help. Fortunately, Jackson was able to overcome his addiction after multiple stints in rehabilitation centers. However, looking back on his years of substance abuse, he admitted that addiction had hindered his acting career. He believes that his performances could have been even more remarkable if it hadn't been for the interference of drugs and alcohol. Marvin Gaye, an iconic figure in the history of rhythm and blues and soul music, particularly within the African American community, faced a tragic battle with addiction behind the fame and success of his music career. His struggle with substance abuse began when he was introduced to cocaine in the early 1960s. By the late 1970s, his dependence on the drug had become severe. Despite several attempts to seek help, Gaye found himself trapped in a vicious cycle of rehab and relapse. His addiction was compounded by intense anxiety and depression, which ultimately affected both his personal life and musical career. Marvin Gaye's paranoia and struggles with his addiction reached such extremes that he began wearing a bulletproof vest, only removing it when performing on stage or returning home, believing that someone was conspiring to kill him. His mental and emotional distress escalated, culminating in a heartbreaking tragedy on April 1, 1984. After a heated argument, his father, in an unfortunate turn of events, took Marvin's life. The loss was not only a personal tragedy for his family, but also a devastating blow to his fans and the African American community. When Gaye passed, traces of cocaine were found in his system, a stark reminder of the impact addiction had on his life and career. Lamar Odom, a talented professional basketball player widely known to the public, is a heartbreaking example of how a promising career can be cut short by the effects of substance abuse. Lamar's basketball career flourished in the early 2000s, and he eventually joined the Los Angeles Lakers, where he played alongside legend Kobe Bryant. He helped the Lakers win back-to-back championships in 2009 and 2010, and was awarded the NBA's Sixth Man of the Year in 2011. However, despite his significant success on the court, Lamar struggled with substance abuse issues. In an interview with TMZ, Lamar revealed that his situation had become so dire that while he was married to his ex-wife Khloe Kardashian, a woman he was involved with used his phone to call her to pick him up. His career was also affected by the tragedy. On October 13, 2015, he suffered a drug overdose at a brothel in Nevada. He went into kidney failure, had multiple heart attacks, 12 strokes, fell into a coma, and had to be put on a ventilator. This medical crisis marked the end of both his marriage and his career as a professional basketball player. Richard Pryor is regarded as one of the greatest and most influential comedians of all time. He had a successful career in entertainment, winning prestigious awards, including an Emmy and 5 Grammys. However, his decline began with his descent into drug addiction and alcoholism. By the late 1970s, Pryor had become so addicted that he became famous for his erratic behavior, which caused friends and collaborators to distance themselves, leading to numerous legal, financial, and personal troubles. His addiction was so severe that his wife at the time, Jennifer Lee, revealed that she left him after discovering he was using cocaine. She said, "After 2 weeks of watching him spiral into addiction, I left. It was clear that the drug had become his lover and nothing I did seemed to matter anymore." In 1977, after years of smoking and drinking, Pryor suffered a mild heart attack at just 36 years old. He experienced a second heart attack in 1990, and on the morning of December 10, 2005, he passed away after a third heart attack at his home in Los Angeles. Reports indicated that his fatal heart attack was caused by coronary artery disease, partly as a result of his years of smoking. Clifford Joseph Harris Jr., known by his stage name T.I., is another African-American rapper and actor who has faced a fierce battle with addiction. Early in his career, he became involved in drug dealing and experimented with illicit substances, and things took a turn for the worse after his release from prison on March 26, 2010, following a conviction on weapon-related charges. T.I. began using prescription painkillers to alleviate pain from dental surgeries. However, what started as a way to treat his pain quickly spiraled into a severe addiction. Fortunately, he overcame this addiction, and in recent years, T.I. has turned his personal struggles with addiction into a platform for positive change. He has been open about the difficulties he faced with substance abuse and the steps he has taken to recover. T.I. has also become an advocate for rehabilitation rather than punishment for offenders, particularly in the African American community. The story of Michael K. Williams, the Hollywood actor known for his memorable roles in The Wire and Boardwalk Empire, is both captivating and tragic. Williams became a household name for his portrayal of Omar Little, a principled yet terrifying robber in The Wire. However, playing a character entrenched in the world of drugs took a significant toll on Williams, deeply affecting his mental and emotional well-being, leading him to struggle with addiction himself. He soon developed a smoking habit, which eventually escalated into a dependency on various substances. On September 6, 2021, at the age of 54, Williams was found dead in his Brooklyn apartment by his nephew. The New York City Medical Examiner's Office confirmed his death as a result of an overdose, involving a combination of more than 4 different substances. His tragic passing came just months after he had openly shared that he was seeking treatment for his mental health struggles and addiction. Williams' death serves as a heartbreaking reminder of the devastating impact that addiction can have, even on those who have achieved great success in their careers. D'Angelo, the famous singer-songwriter and producer, is another prime example of a black celebrity who has struggled with addiction. He is widely known for his R&B and soul music from the mid-1990s, particularly with albums like Brown Sugar and Voodoo. After the massive success of these albums, D'Angelo's appearance became a topic of public and media attention. While this increased his fame, it also began to affect his mental health. D'Angelo decided to step away from the public eye, and on the final day of his 8-month tour, he told his bandmates, "I can't wait for this tour to end. I'm going into the woods, I'm going to drink, grow my beard, and gain weight." And that's exactly what he did. However, as he withdrew from the public eye, his life took a darker turn as he began to struggle with alcohol and substance abuse. He admitted that initially, he used them as a way to cope with the pressure and stress of fame. Unfortunately, things spiraled out of control, leading to several arrests and a near-fatal car accident in 2005. Fortunately, he made a comeback in 2014 with the album Black Messiah, proving that despite going through a difficult period, he didn't give up. However, unlike D'Angelo, many other black stars didn't get the chance to change and live a sober life. Pimp C, the famous rapper and producer, is one of the sad examples of those who couldn't overcome addiction. He was one half of the underground hip-hop duo UGK with Bun B, and the group released their breakthrough album Too Hard to Swallow in 1992, followed by successful albums like Super Tight and Ridin' Dirty, which solidified their influence in the hip-hop community. Pimp C's struggle with addiction began as he faced pressures and challenges within the hip-hop industry. Tragedy struck on the morning of December 4, 2007, when he was found unconscious in his hotel room in West Hollywood, California. Medical staff declared him dead shortly afterward. His death was determined to be due to an overdose of cough syrup, compounded by sleep apnea, a condition that can cause breathing to stop for 30 seconds during sleep. Pimp C's tragic life ended at the age of 30, highlighting the devastating impact of substance abuse. Nate Dogg, one of the iconic figures in hip-hop, was known as the King of Hooks for his deep voice and unforgettable choruses on many classic West Coast rap tracks. However, alongside his immense contributions to music, Nate Dogg's life was also deeply affected by issues of addiction. Growing up in an environment surrounded by substances, this influence played a significant role in shaping his lifestyle and decisions. Over time, alcohol, drugs, and partying became an everyday part of his life, impacting both his health and his personal relationships. Unfortunately, on December 19, 2007, after years of substance abuse, Nate suffered a stroke, but was fortunate enough to recover after spending a week in the hospital and undergoing rehabilitation. However, he continued to abuse alcohol and drugs throughout his recovery process. On September 12, 2008, he suffered another stroke and tragically passed away on March 15, 2011, at the age of 41 in Long Beach, due to complications from multiple strokes and congestive heart failure. Snoop Dogg, real name Calvin Cortazar Broadus Jr., is famously associated with marijuana use. He has been very open about his love for cannabis throughout his career, and it has become a central part of his public persona. While he hasn't publicly referred to himself as a drug addict, he has often joked about being a regular user of marijuana, and it has been a recurring theme in his music, lifestyle, and branding. Snoop Dogg has also advocated for the legalization of marijuana and has even launched his own cannabis brand, Leafs by Snoop. His use of cannabis, especially in the context of a celebrity who promotes it as part of his image, has led to discussions about his relationship with it, with many fans considering it a part of his laid-back West Coast persona. However, there are no reports suggesting he has struggled with addiction in the way many would define it, like with substance dependence or the negative life impacts often associated with addiction. Instead, his cannabis use seems to be a personal choice and part of his larger public identity. Lil' Kim, born Kimberly Denise Jones, is a pioneering black rapper and an icon in the hip-hop world. She has cemented her place as one of the most influential women in rap. However, beneath her tough gangster image lies a deeply vulnerable person who has fought a long battle with substance abuse and addiction. Lil' Kim's struggle with drugs began when she left home at the age of 14 and entered the dangerous world of drug dealers and traffickers to survive. She started doing menial tasks for these dealers and gradually became dependent on substances to cope with feelings of insecurity and low self-esteem. Her relationship with Notorious Big also played a significant role in her struggle with addiction, and after his death in 1997, her problems worsened. This created immense pressure on her personal life, career, and health, even leading to legal troubles. In 2005, she was convicted of perjury and conspiracy for lying to a grand jury about the involvement of her friends in a shooting incident. After being released from prison, her struggles only deepened. Lil' Kim tried to revive her career, but the lingering effects of her addiction continued to challenge her. Lauryn Hill, the legendary singer, songwriter, and rapper, is one of the most influential artists in music history, with over 50 million albums sold globally. She is one of the best-selling female rappers of all time. Unfortunately, the pressure to maintain her public image, combined with her relentless touring schedule and fan expectations, became an overwhelming burden for her. In 2000, Hill disappeared from the public eye. This period was a very stressful time for her, during which she also fired her management team, stopped doing interviews, watching TV, and listening to music. She also began displaying erratic behaviors related to substance abuse and dependency. Despite facing these challenges, Lauryn Hill remains one of the most respected figures in the music industry. Eddie Griffin, the famous comedian, actor, and writer known for his work in stand-up comedy and films like Undercover Brother and Malcolm and Eddie, is a prime example of a black star who faced struggles with addiction. Griffin has a sharp wit and an unfiltered comedic style, which helped him stand out early in his career. However, like many others, Griffin fell into substance abuse. His lifestyle, with late nights and a demanding work schedule, made him susceptible to addiction. This led to erratic behavior in his personal life, damaging his relationships and career. Fortunately, Griffin overcame his addiction and now never misses an opportunity to speak out against the negative impacts of alcohol and drugs. In a recent interview, he emphasized his goal and journey as a way to bring hope in despair, joy amid sorrow, love in the face of hate, and truth in the midst of alternative facts. Nate Robinson, a former professional basketball player and standout athlete, won the hearts of sports fans with his impressive slam dunks and competitive spirit. Standing at just 5'9", Robinson became a three-time champion of the slam dunk contest in 2010, proving that heart and talent can overcome physical limits. Despite such great success, Nate fell into the grip of alcohol addiction. His drinking, which initially started moderately, gradually became more frequent and began to affect his performance on the court as well as his family relationships. In 2022, Robinson revealed that he had been dealing with kidney disease, a result of years of alcohol abuse. By April 2024, his kidney condition worsened to the point where he would need a kidney transplant to replace his failing one in order to live a long life. In a conversation with Men's Health magazine, he said, "I have to be here. I want to live another 40 years, be a grandfather, see my grandkids, take them to the gym, tell them stories about when I was in the NBA." Don Cornelius was an exceptional television host and producer, best known as the creator of the iconic music and dance program Soul Train, which he hosted from 1970 to 1993. Cornelius had a profound impact on the entertainment industry, revolutionizing it by bringing black music and culture into the American mainstream. However, despite his success and contributions to music and television, Cornelius's personal life was fraught with challenges. He struggled with alcohol and substance abuse, which negatively impacted his health and career. In the final 3 decades of his life, he faced serious health problems. In 1982, He underwent a 21-hour surgery to repair a congenital blood vessel defect in his brain. Following the surgery, he suffered serious health complications, including seizures, which eventually forced him to retire and focus on his health. On February 1st, 2012, police were called to Cornelius's home in Los Angeles. He was found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound and died at the age of 75. His death devastated his family and fans around the world. Cornelius is remembered for his signature line with which he ended each episode of Soul Train. "I am Don Cornelius, and as always in farewell, we wish you love, peace, and soul." Meek Mill, the famous American rapper, also makes it onto this list. Meek Mill rose to fame in 2011 after appearing on a label compilation album. Although he became a prominent voice in hip-hop, his success was overshadowed by legal battles, mental health issues, and substance abuse. Meek Mill's struggle with addiction began after he was prescribed strong painkillers following wisdom teeth surgery. This marked the start of a long and painful battle with addiction and substance abuse, which also led to legal challenges for the rapper. In 2008, he was convicted of drug possession and sentenced to 11 to 23 months in prison, followed by 8 years of probation. After many years, Meek Mill sought help and recovery. Reflecting on his days as an addict, he said, "I think there should be a clear line between having this problem and being afraid to tell your probation officer because you don't want to get locked up for many years." After overcoming these struggles, Meek Mill is still remembered as one of the most influential rappers in the music industry. Ja Rule is another famous rapper who faced a battle with substance abuse. He had a highly successful career, selling millions of albums and earning millions of dollars from music and reality TV. Ja Rule revealed that he started getting involved in drug dealing at around 12 or 13 years old, as he was forced to work to help his mother through difficult times. Later, he began experimenting and quickly fell into heavy addiction. His struggle became public when he encountered high-profile legal issues, including a prison sentence in 2011 for weapons possession and tax evasion. Although Ja Rule didn't publicly reveal his specific treatment methods for addiction, his time in prison served as a wake-up call, prompting him to reflect on his life choices and future. He also focused on rebuilding his career and personal life, returning to music and getting involved in various business ventures. Furthermore, he emphasized the importance of resilience and making positive choices. Jimi Hendrix, one of the most prominent names in rock history, is celebrated as one of the most influential and talented guitarists of all time. In fact, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame describes him as possibly the greatest guitarist in the history of rock music. However, he struggled with a serious issue that ultimately led to his tragic and untimely death. It all began in 1962 when he walked into a small bar in Tennessee to drink, spending most of his savings on alcohol. After that night, alcohol gradually became an obsession in his life, leading him to violent outbursts and rare moments of aggression. He began mixing alcohol with drugs, and each time he did, his condition worsened. This had a severe impact on his career, relationships, and health. It all came to a tragic end on September 18, 1970, when he was found breathing but unresponsive. According to his girlfriend, Monica Danneman, he had taken 9 sleeping pills, 18 times the recommended dose before going to bed. He was pronounced dead later that day, and an autopsy revealed that he had died of asphyxiation from his own vomit and had died in a state of alcoholism and drug abuse. His death sent the world, especially rock fans, into mourning. Mystical, a prominent figure in Southern hip-hop, known for his high-energy performances and unique style, also made the list due to his struggles with addiction. His battle with substance abuse has been closely tied to legal and personal issues. He was arrested multiple times on charges related to drugs, including drug possession and probation violations. Mystikal served several prison sentences, including a 6-year term. Although he did not plead guilty to drug possession, it was clear that his repeated arrests were connected to his ongoing struggles with addiction and substance abuse issues. Billie Holiday, known as Lady Day, made profound contributions to jazz and pop music, but her life is also a tragic example of the devastating effects of addiction. She struggled with severe alcoholism and drug abuse, and in early 1959 she was diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver due to excessive drinking. Despite several attempts to quit, she relapsed repeatedly, ultimately leading to her untimely death. In 1959, Billie Holiday was hospitalized due to heart failure and kidney problems. While in her hospital bed, the New York police arrested her for heroin possession found in her room. She passed away in the hospital a few days later, while still in police custody for drug possession at the age of 44. Charlie Wilson, also known as Uncle Charlie, rose to fame in the 1970s and 1980s with hits like Outstanding, You Dropped a Bomb on Me, and Burn Rubber on Me. However, after reaching remarkable heights in the entertainment industry, Wilson faced a period of struggle with alcohol and drug addiction, leading him to live on the streets of Hollywood Boulevard from 1993 to 1995. The good news is that he sought help, overcame this dark chapter in his life, and has remained sober ever since. Wilson has been honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Reflecting on his journey, he shared, "Today, I stand before you as a man who has been sober for 29 years, not relapsing day by day, 29 years, 7 days a week." Sean Combs, also known as Diddy or Puff Daddy, has a story that highlights the devastating impact addiction can have on both a career and personal life. Once one of the greatest stars in hip-hop, Diddy reached the peak of his career, influencing the music industry profoundly and creating extravagant parties and events. However, the addiction struggles he faced over the years have transformed him from an icon into a cautionary tale. Despite his immense success, the challenges he dealt with in terms of substance abuse affected his personal relationships and professional reputation. Recent revelations about Diddy's life show that he has not only struggled with self-control, but also fallen into poor decision-making, leading to scandals and illicit parties. Addiction has affected not only his physical and mental health, but also led to numerous lawsuits. Now Diddy faces the potential of prison time, with the possibility of a lengthy sentence ranging from 15 years to life if convicted. This has caused both his fans and the music industry to pause and reflect on the destructive impact of addiction on talented and promising individuals. As a human being in modern society, we should stay away from and ignore things that are harmful to ourselves and society, such as drugs and illegal substances. Thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support our channel.